After speaking to reporters about the Vanity Fair bombshell where Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff, is quoted, Karoline Leavitt then went on Fox News. And as often is the case, the questions are pretty soft on Fox News. But what does happen is that Karoline Leavitt still makes a complete and utter fool of herself. Starting with the Fox hosts on the topic of the Vanity Fair piece, here she does talk about out of context, like she did earlier when speaking with reporters, but she even throws in the phrase fake news. I mean, why not, right? It's good work if you can get it.
She goes on after that. You can read the full thing on X, but what happened? What went wrong?
Well, look, I would just echo my boss, Susie Wiles, who is the best chief of staff in our nation's history, working for the greatest president in our nation's history, and that this was, unfortunately, another attempt at fake news by a reporter who was acting disingenuously and really did take the chief's words out of context. But I think most importantly, the bias of omission was ever present throughout this story. The reporter omitted all of the positive things that Susie and our team said about the president and the inner workings of the White House. And as Susie said today, it's deeply unfortunate that happened, but it won't distract us from making America great again. And President Trump has been such a productive president.
All right. Yeah. Now she goes into Trump propaganda. Listen, everything she's saying here is just crap. First of all, it was an attempt at fake news by a reporter acting disingenuously. The reporter is quoting Susie Wiles. OK. Second, the words were taken out of context. You can repeat that as many times as you want, but unless you can give us a hint as to what kind of context would change the ultimate meaning of this stuff, you just sound like you're blowing smoke. She mentions the bias of omission, that the positive things said about Trump weren't included in the article. I hate to tell you, Karoline, it's not exactly newsworthy if you get people who work for Trump to say he's awesome. It is a cult after all, and it makes sense that a lot of that stuff isn't part of the story because it doesn't really move the ball forward in our understanding of what people really think behind the scenes. And the fact that they are still unable to come up with anything better than this tells us that the theme of they never take responsibility for their own actions or Trump's continues. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much positive there is, it's still bad. What context would change whether or not Elon Musk is using ketamine? What context would change whether Trump is making major consequential decisions on a whim? You know, if I go, hey, Joe Schmo killed a woman, and someone goes, yeah, but David, did you report that Joe Schmo also watered her plants before killing her? You're missing the context of the whole thing. Give me a break. Okay, give me a break. Now, in continuing the very aggressive delusions, Karoline Leavitt is now giving Trump credit for making up phrases.
We do expect that number to continue to decline as President Trump's energy policies continue to kick in. And he made up the slogan, drill, baby, drill. And that's what our Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, has been.
At minimum, Sarah Palin was using the phrase drill, baby, drill before Donald Trump, way back when she was running as John McCain's vice president in 2008. Next, Trump invented fire and discovered the wheel. Wait a second. Or is it discovered fire and invented the wheel? What is the difference between inventing and philosophical question for a different day? Donald Trump scheduled to address the nation tonight. Karoline Leavitt weighed in a little bit on what that's going to be about.
First of all, you let us know that there's going to be a big address to the nation tomorrow night at 9. So do tell, what's it all about?
We greatly look forward to President Trump addressing the nation tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern. I hope your audience will tune in, and Americans across the country will tune in to hear from their president as well about the historic accomplishments that he has garnered for our country over the past year. If you look at the security of our border, if you look at stopping Joe Biden's inflation right in its tracks, bringing down gas prices to the lowest level in 5 years, President Trump will be talking about what's to come. The best is truly yet to come, as he often says.
So it sounds like it will be an extraordinary feat of propaganda riddled with Trump jumping off message, just like he did at last week's speech in Pennsylvania, where he was there to deliver a speech about how he's going to fix affordability. And he said, it's already fixed. Prices are down. So I expect the fact that Karoline Leavitt can't even explain what this speech is going to be about should concern all of us. And then finally, really, really, really untrue statement from Karoline Leavitt about job creation under President Biden.
Of course. And we know under the previous administration and Joe Biden that 100% of the jobs gained were for foreign-born workers. These
Think about how idiotic that sounds. Every new job while Biden was president, millions of jobs were for foreigners, not a single American-born person. As soon as you get such an obvious fact wrong, it would be sort of like if someone said, I estimate this baby's weight at 300 pounds. You go, wait a second. If you don't even have a sanity check as to why that sounds ridiculous, I don't know that I can believe anything else that you're saying. It's getting really bad for Karoline Leavitt. Can she continue doing this? Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.